So one of the things that makes our program very distinctive, very different, probably something you won't find in many other leadership programs or certificate programs, is very deep work with the feminine archetypes. It's really the center point of our program, and part of why we choose to work with it is that it really gives us an access point to expand who we know ourselves to be much wider than our everyday selves. I often use the analogy that I see so many women painting the canvas of their lives with maybe 3 or 4 colors. And yet there's 13 different colors, these different 13 archetypes that we work with in our system. And as you step into each one, you really expand who you know yourself to be so that you can be a much more full spectrum woman, each archetype. And for those who aren't as familiar with archetypes, let me give a few examples. An archetype would be the energy of the great mother, or the queen, or the wise woman. There are these energy patterns, you might say, that are cross-cultural, that no matter where you come from, you probably understand what it means to be a mother. You probably understand what it means to be a wild woman. And most of us, or not, but you understand what it means. Now, whether you live it,
exactly,
whether
that's
you
my
embody
point.
it, is a different question.
So that's the point, is this program's not about understanding, that's the unique aspect. We
It's
can all
about
go to
living
school
it.
and study it. You know, I went to school and studied so many things. I studied alchemy, I studied archetypes. But it's
Psychotherapy.
actually, right, psychotherapy. But it's in the living of it, it's the embodiment of it where something shifts. And I use the analogy of, you know, remember being a kid and playing dress up. But your dress up was so engaging and so embodied that you weren't just pretending to be that, you became that. You weren't pretending to be a fairy princess, you were the fairy princess.
Right.
Well, the same thing, you know, Lady Gaga isn't pretending to be Lady Gaga, she's being Lady Gaga, you know, and that part where we move from the pretense, from the costume party aspect to actually the mythic aspect of becoming that energy, of becoming that character, of becoming that force on the planet, something shifts inside. I know for me that when I actually call upon the archetype of the queen, who I associate with sovereignty and power unto myself and holding safety in my own queendom and really showing up and being fully responsible for what's happening in the world. That's the queen archetype for me. When I truly step into that, everything in my world shifts. It's not just a mask I'm putting on.
Though wearing a mask can be a good, it's a good starter point.
Right.
Some of the people who look at our work from the outside might think it looks a little bit crazy, but what we invite people to do is we say, okay, you're going to step into a part of yourself you're not used to, and the way to do it is, this is not you, this is you maybe stepping into a certain goddess energy. I'm going to step into Isis now. Isis has this fierce initiator energy that me as Devaa, who grew up wanting people to like me, may not be so comfortable with. But if I say, now I'm going to step into Isis and I'm going to bring her energy through me, suddenly I have permission. I might put on, you know, a cape or a color that feels like Isis. I might even put on a mask, and I start to get comfortable with a part of my being that I need. For being a powerful leader in the world, I need to stand in that initiator energy. But it's not going to be as comfortable if I'm just Devaa. And so I step into something else. I practice, I get comfortable with it, and little by little it becomes a part of Devaa as well. And then I become the more full spectrum woman that is needed. The wildness, the craziness, living into all these different parts is required for us to actually birth our biggest dreams, because it's not coming from the small, everyday, limited person who isn't good enough. No, it comes from this bigger self that is in us, often dormant. So working with the archetypes helps pull it out. At least I've seen it happen for both of us.
I want you to think of it like this. Every one of us, I know, has a secret impulse inside, a secret desire. If I was to really ask you and say, what part of your being do you not express that you would really love to express if you gave yourself permission? You know, I spent years and years and years working with people to free them up in the area of expression. And what I normally find is that there are certain areas that we're comfortable in, and then certain areas where we hold ourselves back. We've mentioned the archetype of the wild woman, for example, or even this initiator energy, this strong, powerful force in the world. So what I would say is that secretly underneath it all, there are certain parts you wish to play in the play of life that you haven't allowed yourself to play for whatever reason, and we've all got our reasons. I know for me that I was very comfortable with the energy of the muse, or the energy of the goddess of love, of being this kind of exuberant, loving, flamboyant character. But I really wasn't so comfortable with the energy of what we call the initiator, who's the one who cuts through the bullshit of life, who actually calls it like it is, who says, you know what, I'm going to cut through that and I'm actually going to tell you like it is. I'm not going to dress it up, I'm not going to fluff it up, I'm not going to even attempt to put any words around it, I'm just going to call you out and say, when are you going to fully show up? That's the kind of thing she says. But I wasn't so comfortable in that, not because I didn't want, you know, yours was around people liking you. Mine was really around being annihilated. Mine was really about, if I stand up and show myself and fully show up in the world, then you're going to hate me, annihilate me, somehow try to destroy me. You know, so we have all kinds of reasons as to why we don't want to show up in the bigness of who we actually are. We'd keep in our kind of small stories. And so this ancient lineage of mystery school teachings that we're bringing through really offers us a unique opportunity to step beyond that small story, to step into something much bigger, more vibrant, more energized, and from that place to create something in our lives and in the world that we use this phrase, it's greater than imagined, that is beyond what you probably thought you were capable of.